is it challenging under stress to, besides actually doing the opposite action, is it also challenging to like not be able to do exactly what you want to do? So deciding, after maybe when friends are going out for happy hour, if we're not in COVID, um, like deciding to go home to get a better night's sleep, does that bother you?
I think the thing I had the most trouble with was probably with dating when I was feeling like in that sad way. It would feel like, oh my God, I feel like I need to be doing these actions or I need to be going out, but like I really don't feel like 110% or like my real self. So I feel like I had trouble just like rectifying those two things or like figuring out the right way forward through that stuff.
And what do you think now about that, going on the date when you're not 100%?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's no like right way, but I feel like it's okay to just like go and do the action sometimes and just like show up, and it can be like practice even if it doesn't work out. And I think it's also okay if I'm in like a short bad mood to be like, hey, maybe this like is not the right activity right now and I should just like reschedule for next week when I know I'll be feeling a bit better and I can just focus on like exercising and like eating and like getting back to normal for this week.
So I imagine that that's trial and error, that sometimes you just push forward and allow it to be like a non-perfect date. Other times you reschedule and let yourself do some self-care. Anything you've learned about that trial and error over time?
Yeah, I feel like there have been times that I've like gone on the date and then I end up having like 2 to 3 drinks and it doesn't go well. And then like the next day I'm like 5 notches worse than I was. So I think, yeah, just like listening to myself and knowing how past experiences have gone, gauging it too. Like maybe it's like, oh, if it's a first date, I'm not really sure like how it'll net out. This could just like make things worse tomorrow. Maybe like next week is better. But yeah, I think it just depends on the circumstance and trial and error.
Yeah, it might be a metric of uncertainty. So
Yeah.
a first date is a much more uncertain situation. So you're much more vulnerable to whatever direction your mood is headed. Where if you have some sense of what's going to happen, you might be able to challenge your mood more effectively.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and even getting broader than that, I think making a decision when you have some sense that you have some space between the mood and like you see the mood for what it is and you have some space to decide how you're going to respond to the thoughts and urges that come with it. That's like if you have no space, that's probably a time that you need to focus on self-care. Whereas
Yeah.
if you have some amount of space, you can do something that's a little bit more uncertain.
Yeah.
Thank you for that example. So tying it all together, how do you imagine things will go from here for you?
I think I definitely have like a set of tools now to better identify like my mood and figure out what's going on. And then I have a set of tools to help like course correct and like get myself back in a better place. I think the challenge is still like being able to identify those moods as they're happening. So I think I'll just like continue to work on that and continue to like reflect on past things and be like, oh, that was going on. Like I was feeling this, that, and the other way. So hopefully in time, it'll be easier to like flag those things as they're happening in real time.
Yeah, that sounds great. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Anything else you want to add before we end?
That's it. Thank you, Maggie.
Okay. See you soon. Thanks.